Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We are with a very special guest today. This guy, I've met him at different programs and seminars and with some of the biggest business leaders in the country. This guy knows his stuff. He's a great entrepreneur, a great friend. He's helped me a lot in my business. Philip, thank you for joining us, man.
Shaheen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So for those out there that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, what your expertise is. What do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Filip Lundstedt, and my expertise would be insurance as a whole. And it's kind of what I was meant to do, right? Like, it's kind of like one of those things that you accidentally get into. Like, we never... I don't know, man. Like, we swim in the same crowds, right? And it always seems like it's the same story. Someone's like, hey, man, I got into this business in a really weird way. And I'm like, yeah, me too, man. Like, I got into my business from total failure, right? Like, I was living, no joke, I was living Section 8 housing at the time. My daughter was super young. I have two kids, and my oldest daughter was super young at the time. We were living in basic Section 8 housing. I was trying to make a living as a car salesperson, right? But at that time, my discipline was terrible, right? So trying to do my stuff in car sales, wanted to get out of car sales, try to get into mortgages. It didn't end up working out. I accidentally went to an interview for insurance. I got hired by a company called Bankers Life and Casualty, and it just, boom, it started from there, man. I fell in love with it. I found out that I was able to create solutions for people and their problems. And I was like, wow, man, this is pretty rewarding. And it paid pretty good too, right? Which didn't hurt. I'm eating at food pantries and stuff. And you know what I'm saying? I'm living in terrible housing. And I'm thinking, hey, this is great, brother. But, it's been a crazy journey. It's been a great journey. And over those years, man, I've been able to help some people in need. I've been able to take that knowledge and then turn it into helping businesses grow and scale. And networking and being able to meet really, really awesome people and share ideas with people, man. So it's been a wild ride, brother, but it's only the start, right? So it's awesome. Thanks again so much for having me on the show, dude. I really, really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So, it's crazy what you say about, things just seem to happen, right? And when they do happen, you're like, man, I was born for this, right? Exactly. Like, I've always wanted to find something where I can help people and make great money at the same time. And I didn't know what that was going to be until I just did it. And it found me. I found it. I don't know what happened. And then, here we are. And, it's crazy. We just started doing, insurance for businesses where we help them get the preventative health insurance benefits. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know a whole lot about insurance until we started doing this. And so there's a lot of I didn't realize there's so many different benefits that most people don't know when it comes to insurance. Correct. So I kind of want you to dive into that a little bit. Like, what are some insurances that business owners should have, not just to protect themselves, but also to give them the benefits that they need as they're scaling or growing a business?
I think that's a great question. And really, it really starts with, man, the attitude of the business owner is always where it starts, right? Like, where's your mind at? Is your mind like, I just want to save a ton of money. Like, I want no overhead. I don't want to spend. I want to just live here. And that's it. Like, I'm going to tell you now, that's a tough person to deal with in any kind of realm. Right. So let's ignore that part and talk about the entrepreneurs, the small business owner, right? And those are typically the ones that want to explode, right? Right. There's a couple of ways you can do that. You can do that with paying people a ton of money. That's always favorable, right? Like, I'm just going to pay you a ton of money. Come work for me. I mean, that works. I mean, it worked for Messi, right? Pay me a ton of money, give me an unbelievable deal, and I'll come to play for Miami, right, out of all places, which is great. Hey, it's great for me. I live in Florida. It's right down the street. It's great for me. It works out, right? And awesome. You're in Miami all the time too, so that's where we're at. So, you know what I mean? So That's always a great thing. But there's all these different reasons someone might want to grow a company or grow their benefits. And when you grow your benefits, you can grow your company, because we're, as entrepreneurs and as business owners, we're really concerned about our limitations. Like, we have no cap. We want to make more. We want to earn more. We look at dollars coming in. That's our value. But we have to remember that sometimes people, that's not their scope, right? and they're okay being an employee. And we need that because there's two kinds of people that are going to drive for their success or be the driving force for someone else's success. But we need both people in the world.
For sure.
So, right. So the employee becomes very important. And the culture around the employee is typically better when they feel like they're being taken care of. Like when they feel they're getting a value proposition. Not only are you paying them, but you're giving them a culture where they feel where they're protected and they're secure.
Right.
Best way to do that is benefits, right?
Yeah.
A great way of doing that, of course, is health benefits. Saying if something happens to you, we got you. We're going to take care of you. We got a great system. You're going to have a choice of doctors. You're going to have all this access. You're going to have preventative services. You're going to have wellness services. We're going to give you all these extras. And it all sounds great. And then people will go out and shop that and they'll get this sticker shock, right? Yeah. And they'll be like, oh my God. It's like when you buy a Rolex.
Right.
If you go to Mayors to buy a Rolex, it's going to break your heart.
Right.
But if you do a little research, you'll figure out, wow, I can get these about 25 to 40% off of what they're selling them for in Mayors. And then you're like, oh, well, it's a little more accessible. Supercars, same thing, right?
Yeah.
How's this guy afford this thing? Well, the guy's leasing it through his company and he's writing that off and he's only driving it for 200 miles a month, right? So it's only $2,000 a month, which isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things to drive a McLaren, right? So like when you look at those aspects, it's the same thing with insurance. If you understand the product and where to get it from and how to get it, then it makes all the differences. Most businesses will go with a major medical insurance company and they'll say, okay, just give me policies for all my people. And they'll say, yeah, sure. We will fully insure you and you will pay us the highest premium possible. Yeah. Fully insured, right?
Yeah.
Most companies are fully insured. And it's crazy because they feel like they have to. And it's like, well, if you're between 3 employees and 10 employees, you don't need to fully insure. In fact, chances are you're better off just going onto the private market and doing individual policies and then separating that payment and help offset that cost for your employee. We do that a lot of times with people. Sometimes we put people on small level funded policies. Allstate has phenomenal level funded policies, but so does Aetna. And Aetna is a major medical company. And Allstate, everybody knows car insurance, but they're a huge player in the group insurance market too. They've really perfected the level funding model. And I'll kind of explain what that means. But when you get one of these policies, you start to get a lot more freedom.
Right.
Okay. And that's a beautiful thing. You start to get this freedom. You start to feel, you're like, okay. And those premiums start to come down because you're sharing the cost, right? So you're kind of splitting that responsibility. Now there can be some health questions, but keep in mind, it depends on who's running a census. The census that we get with all the information, how we run it, is going to depend on how many what we call IMQs, individual medical questionnaires that we have to receive. If we can limit the amount of that we get, then we can get a pretty good rating on you and we can move forward, right? The point is, you can't just be looking at fully insured and saying, this is my only option. You should be calling a broker, talking to somebody and being like, hey, what
that has options?
Right. There's always options.
I mean, that's the same thing. Like I keep trying to tell people like, so for lending, for example, right? Like people have this stigma that, you know, don't work with a broker because you can go directly to the lender and get a better deal. And it's just not the case because brokers like us, for example, we get discounted rates because of the amount of volume that we do. And we can pick and choose and go to all these other lenders to find you the best deal possible.
Correct.
Right. And if you're not charging broker fees, it's like, why would you not go to a broker? You get so many more options. I mean, you know, as well as I do, no business owner has the time to call every insurance company to get the best rate. It ain't happening.
Nope. It ain't. And you're right. And that's essentially where we come in. Well, we build systems that make it really, we cheat. We build, I spend lots of money on systems. And I build systems that make that lightning fast. So we do a lot of AI. A lot of our stuff is AI driven. A lot of our underwriting is AI driven. We work with companies that utilize AI underwriting because you get it back in hours rather than weeks.
It's weeks or days.
Dude, I can pull with one company, as long as I have 13 or more employees, I can pull a fully bindable census in 15 minutes. And that's unheard of. So 15 minutes, I could sit in front of a business owner, get his complete census, run it through a system, and get a bindable policy in 15 minutes.
Wow.
That quick.
That's crazy.
It's all because of the technology and me saying, hey, man, it's not time to stop and say, look how great I'm doing, right? It's time to be like, who's doing better than me? Why are they doing better than me? What are they doing? Let me find out. Let me work with them. Let me figure it out, right? And it's meeting people like you who are like, hey, man, this is what I see. And then I'm like, oh, my God, I got a solution for those kinds of things, right?
Right.
So once you start getting to 10 employees, Shane, this is where it changes. This is where everything changes. Most people stay where they're at and they're scaling their business, but they don't scale their benefits. And when you think scale benefits, it does not mean you're spending more on your benefits. A lot of times it means you're spending less on your benefits.
Right, because you're getting what, like a bulk discount almost?
Almost, because you're more people on it, but the more people that you have under your company, the more access to specific programs that you get. One of those programs is called a Section 125C wellness program. There have been a lot of these programs that have existed, and most people that create them end up in jail or end up bankrupt or getting sued by the federal government because they're very intricate programs. And I deal with a company that's been doing it for 17 years. They've never been to jail. They've never been sued. They've never been sanctioned.
Right.
They have 17 certificates, active certificates from the federal government saying this is a legitimate product. And essentially what it is, and this is crazy, right? This is like, I need like a whiteboard and math, right? No, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to make it in raw numbers. A Section 125C plan is just crudely is like AFLAC. It's like an indemnity policy, right? You do something, it triggers and it returns money to you, okay?
Right.
In the world of insurance, which makes insurance beautiful, when you receive money from insurance, it's return on premium. And the government has no control over return on premium. They can't tax it. They can't do anything to it. So it's tax-free money. Okay. So if you have an employee and they make $4,000 a month and the Section 125C costs $2,000 a month, okay?
Right.
It comes out of the employee's pay. So they're showing $2,000 income. So they're going to pay tax on $2,000. It's a wellness product, which requires a conversation with the employee in regards to their wellness, mental wellness. So you say, I'm feeling great today. We automate that. So every month it automatically happens. We automate it, right? And when that happens, the Section 125C is going to return that premium back to the employee. So the employee is going to get the $2,000 back, but that $2,000 cannot be taxed. So we increase the employee's wages, but with the difference of money, we give them more insurance. So what we do is we buy them a $150,000 whole life policy or an IUL policy, right? So they're getting a little bit of dividends and they got a death benefit. We get them an indemnity policy that then is going to offset the cost that they have with their current policy. So we help pay for their health insurance, and it all comes out like it's free. This is the best part. The employer gets an average of $140 per employee per month in FICA tax dollars.
Right.
In his pocket.
So we do the same thing. So you're talking about like the preventative health initiative.
Correct. The preventative health initiative using Section 125C wellness plans makes it legitimate and legalized through everything.
Exactly. It's been great, man. Like literally every single business owner that we talk to about it, it's yes. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yep.
You're able to provide your employees with benefits that cost them nothing. It's costing you nothing out of pocket, and you're getting tax credits for every single employee.
Exactly.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. You add that with PRC if they haven't taken it, man. Holy smokes. Dude.
Exactly. So we've basically been leading with PHI and then packaging it with everything else. Like, hey, did you take advantage of ERC? You know, do you have a line of credit for your business? Are you overpaying for your credit card processing fees? What about your gas, your electric, your workman's comp, your whatever? and we're packaging everything and saying, hey, look, we just saved you
That's it.
200, 300 grand a year.
That's it,
It's
man.
like, for a small business, that's huge.
Absolutely.
Huge.
It's huge, man. And they're getting money back on employees. And not only that, they're enriching the benefits that they currently have. So that's the niche that I went into. And you're right. Section 125, that what you're talking about, that initiative that exists.
Yeah.
I just happen to use a company that has a way of getting the savings on the back end and then buying extra insurance for the employee that doesn't cost the employee a dime. And these guys,
we should talk about that. We might be able to do something.
That's insane stuff, right? So when you start entering into those things, there's another thing too, man, that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people know about HSAs, but most people don't know anything about something called an HMA, a health matching account. And health matching accounts, they're unreal, man. And I'm limited on what I can say about HMAs because there's all these like regulations on how we can advertise an HMA. It's not insurance. It's not an investment product. It's an actuarial product, to be honest with you. It's really like a mini hedge fund through life insurance. It's a very strange product, but it's not insurance. And it's not. And here's how you know it's not insurance. Anybody can sell it. You could work at McDonald's and sell this thing. It's a matching account. You contribute dollars into this account and it doubles your money. In 35 months, doubles your money, right? So I put in, and it goes into different increments. I'll give you a great example. HMA 10,000. You put in $140 every single month for 35 months. That equals $4,900. But that $4,900, they're going to give you a credit card, a Visa credit card that has $10,000 on it, okay? And you can use that Visa credit card at any doctor, right? In network, out of network.
It has to be used for a doctor. You're not actually getting that money back.
You're getting that money in an account that you can. It's like it's like an HSA.
I got you. I get what you mean.
The difference is it doesn't have to be in network, and it doesn't have to even be qualified, which means you could do plastic surgery, you could do cosmetic surgery, you could do Botox, you could do alternative medicine, you could do chiropractic, stem cell. You could do what you know what you could do. You could do Grant Cardone's 10X Health, man. You could do Tony Robbins' Fountain Health, right?
Right.
I mean, think about that. Those places are expensive. So when they have services that someone can offset because your health insurance ain't paying for it.
Right.
It ain't. So if you're putting dollars towards something in HSA and that's never going to pay for that anyways, and you already have health insurance, the HSA is a mythical thing for most people. I have clients sitting on like $180,000 in HSA, and I'm like, what are you going to do with that money, man? Band-Aids at CVS? Like, what are you going to do with it, right? Like, how many prescriptions are you taking? You're healthy and you do preventative services. So what are you going to use all the HSA money for? If you would have think about it. You might want to get Botox. You might want to get hormone optimization or hormone replacement or testosterone. You might want to go to have mental therapy, right? You might want to have a doctor of physical therapy give you a proper massage. And because he's a doctor, it works, right? You might want to have stem cell or red light. It's just, there's all these options that exist today. And you and me, we're in the same circles a lot. And with Grant and Tony and these other guys, they're quick on the medical field, right? And that's growing fast. And with the integrations of AI and automations, that's only going to get faster and faster and faster.
100%.
And insurance companies, they can't keep up. They can't keep. They're too busy counting. They're counting beans.
Yeah, exactly.
Actuarial count beans, and the rate
makers
to sell the beans. So it all comes down. And then guys like me, and there's other guys like me out there. It's sort of.
Not really.
Yeah, not really. Not exactly like me, but there's guys that do what I do. There's great brokers out there. And the point is there's always a great broker. I don't work in every single state. I only work in like 30 states. So there's some states I won't work in. Yeah, there's some states I just won't work in, man. It's just, I'm not interested. I'm okay. The regulations are crazy. I'm in some states that I don't care to be in, but I follow my clients. If my clients move somewhere, if they open up another business and they want to move the business there, then I got to move with them. And sometimes, a lot of times with businesses, it doesn't happen. With individuals, it happens. I'm like, why would you move there? Like, I don't get you. You left Florida to go there. Like, I don't. A lot of times it's because it'd be closer to kids and whatnot.
Right.
But, with business owners, that's a big thing too, because I do so many different lines of insurance. It's fun because I'm able to sit with a business owner and I'm able to say, like you, right? How you're able to look at all aspects of their business and say, well, what's going on here? I do the same thing. I say, Well, what are you doing for general liability? What are you doing for your car insurance? What are you doing for your homeowner's
Right.
insurance? All that stuff. I have affiliates that I shop out and get you better rates than anybody else, and I get you personalized service, like concierge
Right.
service, exactly what I do.
Exactly.
Because I align with
Yeah.
people the same as me, right?
Right.
So when you
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, man. Like so you've been in the insurance industry for how long now?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started 20 years ago. You were living Section 8. Things weren't going right. And boom, you fell in love with insurance. You started grinding. You were working for another company for a while. And then, so how did you make that shift? Because I did the same thing, right? And I think everybody should, right? You got to crawl before you walk, right? You got to really learn the ins and outs of the business, and then you can go and open your own. That's what I did. I worked for other credit card processing companies and lending companies for 12 years before I started my own business.
Right.
And so when did that shift happen for you, and how did you go from being the employee to the employer and really starting to crush it?
Yeah, man, it was a crazy ride. I went from, like most people, I went from like Bankers Life and Casualty, then I went to Humana, and then from Humana I went to United. And I started to realize a pattern when I was only with one company that I could only offer one thing, and it was causing my focus to be simply commission driven. Because I was like, I have no incentive for my family and survival to tell this person to go on that other policy. So I was like, man, this is killing me. And to be honest with you, and you're right, going through the trials and tribulations of the grind is so important. I always say you got to get used to the taste of blood in your mouth, because life is going to pop you in the face a lot, right? And in business, it's even worse. And if you're going to open up a business, it's even worse, right? So we understand that. I joke with my friends all the time. I say it's being professionally depressed. Like, you don't understand that when you run a business, right? So after years of building up a book of business and then losing it, right? Because there would be a shift in the marketplace. There would be something that happened and everybody would be like, Humana's not the great thing. I got to go somewhere else. And then I was like, right? And it was
all of that work gone.
There it is, right? And then you do the thing that everybody does. You switch lanes. Right? Well, traffic is flowing faster over there. Let me switch lanes. So, of course, I switched lanes to the hottest new thing. And then again, 5-6 years, you build it up, you do everything right. Because at that point, I knew how to build the business. I built it up, and happens again, a big hospital group pulled out of their network, and everybody left, and there was nothing I could do. And when that happened again, it was the second time that I lost a 6-figure income. Second time. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. Right. And I started over. And dude, it was actually when I had just gotten married. So I had just gotten married. I was working 2 jobs at the time before, 3 jobs technically at the time before I'd gotten married. And when I got married, I said, I'm all in on being an independent broker, because I was fed up. I was sick. I was just so angry.
What did the wife think about
she was not happy, man. I quit all my jobs, and I went straight into insurance, and I just kept my head down and I hustled. And, she was, it was really tough because my wife has a phenomenal job. And at that time she was on the come up, and she was boom, 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 coming up like crazy. My wife's 7 years younger than me. So she was like, kind of like, what are you doing? Like, and my wife is amazing, dude. Like, I married the most amazing woman in the world. And she's the type of person that if I go and complain, she's going to be like, isn't this what you pray for? And I look her right in the face and I say,
dude, my fiance is the same way. She reminds me of who I am every day.
Yeah. This is what you wanted. So stop crying about it and get out and get it. And I'm like, you're right. Absolutely.
You're right.
It was kind of one of those situations where I was like, I'm going in, right? And it was scary as shit, man. I mean, I spent a ton of money, had 0 results. I was broke, and it was tough. And then
I did the exact same thing, bro. When I started my business, I got down to owning a $600 car, $8 in my pocket, 0 sales our first 30 days. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then it was boom, pop. It's like we started popping, and
that's it, man. And it's the same thing with me. It was like 3 years in, and all of a sudden I got lucky, right? Lucky. Right. And you know what's funny is my lucky year, I had more trials and tribulations that year than I ever did in my whole career. And I sold 100%. More than I ever did, and it was a huge point for me where I went from being an individual broker saying like, okay, I've been doing this for so long. I can teach anybody to make 100 grand in what we call MRR, right? And monthly
Right.
renewable revenue, right? Like it's coming
Right.
in every month,
And
100K a
residuals. Right.
year in about 3 years, right? As long as they follow the
Right.
exact system and
Right.
go intense and deal with all the bullshit. It's not I'm going to
Right.
kind of do it for 3 years. No, you got to do it for 3 years, and
Right.
you'll walk out with 100K.
Yeah.
Easy
100%.
peasy. In fact, that 3 years is a buffer. That's a safety thing. You could really
Right.
1 year if you're super
Right.
focused, right?
Yeah.
But most people aren't, right? Like maybe 10% of the 20% are actually that focused to do it in 1 year. Where
Right.
the rest of that 20%, 80-20 split, they're going to be able to do it in that other time. But right around COVID is where I made a decision of, I'm going to start an agency and I'm going to teach people. I'm going to bring people in. I'm going to start grooming people. And that's the
Right.
whole process in its own too, right? Like
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been always so great at helping business owners with that transition and grow. When you do it yourself, and you're in this situation too, when you do it yourself, it's like,
Right.
oh man, it's a little crazy. And all my guys are 1099 brokers, independent contractors. We kind of have two sides of the business.
Yeah, same. All my guys are 1099. They work hard. They make a ton of money,
That's
and
it. That's
it's
it, right? For the ones that work hard,
that's
of
all it
course.
is.
The ones that
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that don't. I mean, it blows my mind sometimes. Like I've had a couple of people like come on the team and not do anything. I'm like, why did you even why even come? Why even show up? Like if you're not gonna do anything, you're not gonna make any money. Like what was the point?
What's the point of coming in, man? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? What's the point of even picking up the phone? Get a job that you'll do, and you'll get paid for your time. And just,
Right.
hey man, just accept the fact that your value might be McDonald's minimum wage, dude. Like that's not my choice. That's your
Right.
choice. You chose what you wanted to put effort into.
Yep, and me to each their own, right? Like I know people that are happy working, a minimum wage job. They're happy as can ever. They've got just enough, and they're okay with that, And there's certain people that aren't, right?
Right.
But I think for me, more so, it's the purpose, man. Like to be able to say that we've helped thousands of businesses survive, like that's awesome to me. I'm like, man, that's like without us, I don't know if these thousands of businesses would even be around today.
Right. They wouldn't be able to make their payroll, right? A lot of them wouldn't be able to make their payroll, and they're taking care of families, man. Like to be part of that and be a catalyst for that, that's huge, brother. That's all we aim for,
Yeah, 100%, man. So what's next? So you started the agency. You're getting out there. I've noticed you're going to a lot of trainings, a lot of seminars. You're reading a lot of books. You're getting a lot of info. Like, where's next for you? Like, where are you going from here?
So yeah, man. I mean, I try to stay plugged in all the time on what's going on and what the big guys are doing, and guys like you and everybody else. The people that we hang out with. I always like to see what's happening. So I always keep this expanding. Because, as a leader, our responsibility is to make success easier for other people, especially those people that are following us, right?
Yeah.
That's our only job.
I tell my guys every day, I'm like, look, if you're successful, I'm successful. My only job is to make sure you are as successful as possible.
That's it, and it's, it's tough love. And that's not always the easiest thing. And I try to be straight to the point with people, but really what we're doing now and next steps is, I'm following in your footsteps a little bit here, but I'm going to be starting a podcast, right? It's going to be called the Apex Broker Edge. We do a lot of, I've been cultivating client relationship systems for a long time. So we have unbelievable nurture systems that we do. And, I started looking at a lot of companies, man, and you probably realize this too. A lot of companies and businesses, man, they're using like Excel sheets to keep track of their clients and their customers. And I'm like, that's crazy where you could just automate this through text message and emails and all this stuff. And I know about this too.
We were on the phone with a restaurant the other day, and the guy's still doing handwritten receipts. And I'm like, what?
Why?
Just like, right.
Unless it's like part of the ambiance or the niche, right? Like handwritten receipt restaurant or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just like, that's the way they've done it. That's the way he wants to do it.
That's just weird, man. Like, and I totally get it. Like, and like you said, to each his own. It's kind of like what we said before. Right. Some people, they don't want to. It scares them, and that's the hard
change scares a lot of people,
It does.
But it's funny. Like I've made a lot of changes in my business, always for the better, right? Like the business world is forever changing. You have to adapt and you have to change with it. And my employees always tell me, they're like, man, every time you make a change, I'm scared at first, but it's always the best. Like it was the best thing to do, right? Like I'm never going to make a change for the worse,
Right.
right? Like it's always going to be a change for the positive. But even when people know that, they're still afraid of that change.
They are, because they know they're going to be taken out of their comfort zone one way or another. And we live that thermostat life, right?
Yeah.
So for me, you ask me for what's next is staying above temperature.
Yeah.
Until the thermostat breaks, right?
Right.
Because I don't want to be kept in a comfortable zone. I want to be kept uncomfortable. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of physical challenges that I'm going to be doing this year. I've got a lot of business challenges that I want to do this year. We're tracking really, really well right now. We do a lot of doctor marketing too. So we're looking at some really cool stuff. We got some new products coming out as well. So it's just, it's a fun year, man. It's,
Very cool.
it's the innovation and it's the best time to be in business is right now. Like there is no better time to be in business. I don't give a shit what the economy
It's so
looks like.
easy to start a business right now, easier than ever before.
I mean, it's simple.
It's crazy.
And
I saw a video the other day. It was like 10 businesses ChatGPT can build for you that costs you nothing.
That's it.
Man. And I'm like, there's 10 businesses that ChatGPT can build out for you and it costs you $0.
That's it, man. And I teach people all the time that stuff, like how to brain work ChatGPT and AI. And they're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, it doesn't work for me. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't? No. Right. You got to calm down, slow down, and realize what you're doing. There's a system. There's a finesse to AI that you got to use, man. Yeah. And you can't just use one thing. You got to use multiple things and twist them all together. The braid work, right? And when you're doing that, you can really do a lot. And not just like that. I mean, the opportunity is everywhere. Opportunity is everywhere right now because people are scared, man. People are scared, but that's an emotion. And an emotion, no matter what, is better than a non-emotion, especially in our businesses, right? Like when people are scared and worried in the insurance industry, it's great for me. It's great because it creates this storm where people
same with what we do. You know, like our whole focus is helping businesses save money, increase revenue, hire better employees, yada yada yada. And when things are scary, they're like, okay, we need this, we need this. It's when people get comfortable that they're okay with overpaying for this and overpaying for that. And it always blows my mind that like when things are bad, that's when people start scrambling and making changes to better their business. Right. Like if you would just do that anyway, you'd be so much further ahead. Exactly. Like it blows my mind, man. It blows my mind.
But most people are reactionary, right? We deal from reaction. And that's why with our, at ProCare, we are unbelievable with our client retention and stuff because we reach out to clients constantly. We text them, we email them, we send them letters, we send them, I'll show you, I send them cards, man. I get these personalized, like Hallmark cards made. Right. They're like Hallmark cards, and every single one of my clients, they get them for their birthdays. They get thank you cards.
We do that for New Year's.
Yeah, man, it's got my picture in there. It's like handwritten and stuff, dude. It's the coolest thing, and I'll send them for President's Day, for Martin Luther King Day, for all kinds of stuff, man. So they're always hearing from us, and they get these nice cards. And you know what I hear from my clients more than anything, dude, is thank you so much. That was an amazing card, or thank you so much for the phone call, just stuff like that. And it's rare. Like people will call me. I mean, obviously people call me with their complaints and whatnot. When they don't call me, they call my services. But the point is they have that line to me where they can always get in touch with me. And I'm the type of guy, dude, I answer the phone. Like if I got a client saved in my phone and they call me on vacation, and this is no joke, man, my wife can attest this. We'll be in the middle of skiing in Breckenridge and I will stop in the middle of the mountain, sit my ass down and answer that phone and say, hey, I'm in the middle of a mountain. I'm going to send you a picture. Let me call you back in a few hours, especially if somebody's saved in my phone. I remember I used to have this guy named Don Oliver, man. And he is, I mean, he's old, so he's passed now. But he would always call me. He would always forget stuff. And he would call me and be like, Filip, this guy's on TV telling me that I need to get the Obamacare. And I'm like, no, you're good. You're good. You're on Medicare, man. You don't need that. But I knew that he was always lost and there was nobody there for him. Right. So if this guy would call me at and he would 1:30 in the morning on Sunday, I would answer the phone, man. Hey, Don, how's it going, brother? How is everything? Is everything okay? Yeah, the Obama wants me to get the health care. And I'll be like, no, don't worry about it. You're good, man.
You don't need
But it's
it.
those things that you remember. And
Yeah.
you know,
100%, man.
it's got to be that way with businesses too, man. You got to know. And this is my thing. I get this a lot, Sheen, is I get this one. Hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm just a small business dude. I'm like, don't ever apologize for that. Because to me, that's better than a big business, to be honest with you. Because then I get to grow with you. I get to see you grow.
Exactly.
I get to see you scale.
Exactly.
I get to help you. I get to say, you got to call my buddy. He's going to take care of you. Any loans you need, any credit card processing you need, any of that back end stuff that you need help with. Trust me, I got a guy for you. You need business insurance, you need car insurance, any of that.
Exactly.
I got a guy.
I say that all the time. Like, I would much rather do business with the small guy. I love helping the small guys grow. The big guys, they're already big, right? Like, I like helping them too, but like, I get more excitement about the guys that, you know, I mean, I've got this one customer that it was like one of the first deals we did. He was a one-man like landscaping company. And over 3 years, we got to help him grow to like 6 crews, 30 employees. Like, it was just wild.
Dude, I love that.
It was wild. It was so cool to see, man. So I wanted to ask you, so, you know, all of our guests bring something for our viewers and our listeners. What is your offer for our viewers and listeners today that can help them?
So I know that most of your listeners are going to be small business owners and things of that nature. And what I would love to do is I would love to offer everybody a 30-day trial on our CRM, which is a customer relationship management system. And we will actually onboard you. We'll transfer all your clients in there, and we can show you within a couple of weeks how you can increase income pretty much immediately, because you're going to be able to reach back out to your clients and let them know, hey, what's going on in some nurture systems, and just really show you can take care of your existing business and grow your profits from within, because second and third sale is way easier than first sale, and everybody has a second or third sale. And if you don't, you need to call me and this guy right here. We'll explain to you how to create one of those. That's pretty easy to do, guys. Yeah. You should be doing it. If you're a business selling one thing, that one thing better be gold or oil or something very, very valuable, man. Otherwise, you might be in a little bit of trouble, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, that's what I'd love to give to everybody. 30-day free trial,
very cool.
Just to kind of test everything. And we help with the full onboarding. So it's like, it's lightning fast. We'd have them onboarded within 2 hours, and they'll be able to use that system the day of.
Awesome, man. How would you prefer people get in contact with you? Should I put your email in the description?
Absolutely, man. Emailing me or just contact me through social media at FT Lunds, right? You can follow me on Instagram, or you can go to our ProCare Consulting on
cool. Yeah, I'll tag you in all the videos and everything. I'll put your email in the descriration. So
nice, man.
Awesome, man. Dude, it's been great talking to you, bro. We got to link up soon.
Yeah,
I want to actually see this CRM.
Yeah.
I think it could be great for a lot of our clients.
Yeah, man. I'll send it over to you.
Currently using a CRM, and we're actually in the market for a new CRM ourselves. So, I mean, it might even be the right fit for us. Who knows?
I mean, I got a bot. I got a whole bunch of stuff, dude, in there.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and especially you guys are working with Zapier. That can link into our AI software. I mean, we should definitely set up a demo soon for sure.
I would love that, man. I'll get my CTO to do it with you and everything, and he'd help you guys out with that. Be simple and easy, man.
Beautiful, man. Awesome, brother. It was great talking to you. We'll definitely chat soon, all right?
Perfect, brother. I love it, man.
Take care, man.
Thanks, brother.